Vibes. My people, what's good? How you doing, my people? Another day. Daniel Wangi. How are you, Dan? What's good, guys? Today we got a special guest. Welcome, man. INFORAFRICA. This is what it's about, man. That's my little theme tune. Big shout out to my brother Yomi Humblest. He sent it to me. So I like have a little theme tune when I start. You know, we have to do this properly. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah. Let's get that theme tune in again, man. Let me get my little theme tune in again because today is a special day, man. I'm really happy, excited to have this guy, this brother, the one and only RB. Someone I admire, man. Admire him. A real guy. Has been my role model for so many years now. Understand? Let me make sure I get the title in of what we're going to be talking about today. So much going on. So much going on around the world right now, guys. It's serious. With everything that's happening, the way things are unfolding, especially in America, it's all about unity, man, as much as we can right now. Like a lot of people are saying, if you're staying quiet, you're part of the problem. If you stay silent, you're part of the problem. You can't tell people how to react anymore, especially if you haven't walked a day in their shoes. If you haven't walked a day in their lives. You understand? So, this is a real thing. This is a real thing, man. And we have a special guest today, as I just mentioned. My big bro, Richard Blackwood. One of the best comedians we've had in this country. And certainly my role model. He's a Jamaican man, a proud one too, as you're gonna find out. There's so much to talk about, man. So I'm gonna be I wait for RB. Let me know when you're here. When RB gets in here, we're gonna bring him in. But for now, just make sure I haven't missed him. Oh, there he is. All right. So I'm gonna make this intro for this guy. Special brother. Let me just make sure I got it, man. What's going on? You guys know my technology sometimes is in a madness. I'm trying to get my brother in. RB, show yourself, my bro. There you are. Here's a special guy right now. You guys know how it works. Today we're talking about, look at him. Why are you coming there looking like a 12-year-old? I don't understand you, man.
I mean, I'm just trying to live, brother. I'm just trying to live.
Yeah, you're living. But before we go, because you know, we're gonna go back before we go forward. You do realize that, right?
I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do.
No, can I do what I gotta do?
Do what you gotta do.
Thanks, man. Because you know, a lot of people don't realize, but what I gotta do is special because this is. Can I get a? Chicks get with it. Can I get a? 1, 2, 3, 4. Get with the wicked. Can I get a? Chicks get with it. Can I get a?
Yo.
I'll be runs the show. What? I'm just too hot to handle in the matter of rap. The elements are relevant as I do it rap. I'm rocking up, run the shop, take it to the top, but still laid back as I fake the crap. I tap the bottle and you still remember the words?
Yeah.
Brother, you still remember the words?
It's no, so weird.
What we're going to be talking about today is significant. We need to lay, first of all, the foundation of credibility to know that you're from the 90s school of entertainment. You're not from the 2000s or the 2010s. You're not from generations. You're from the 90s. Flyers.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about. All right. So people can lay the foundation, just in case some people weren't around when they weren't.
Yeah.
Richard Blackwood. First of all,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
we have conversations
All the time.
and I wanna make it clear from the beginning. So we've got some time. We've got some time. Yeah, we've got just under an hour. I want to make it clear that I do not take for granted the conversations we have, the moments we've shared on stage, because I'm one of those people that I never want to grow up. So I always appreciate where I was and where I've arrived to be on sharing stages with people like yourself. You know,
Oh, thank you,
one of my role models, one of my big brothers. That's the first thing I want to get out of the way. The second thing is, INFORAFRICA is a campaign, right? We're getting all Africans from all over the world, the diaspora, on the ground, wherever you are, to join hands in order to fight what's going on the ground right now on the continent. But actually, it's bigger than that. It is also a method that we want to apply to any situation that's going on with our people, right?
Yes,
and
of course.
There's no better time right now than to have these kind of conversations, especially with what's transpired in the past few days in America, of course, and what's also happening across the continent, so many other places. First, before we start, I want you to give me a quick recap on how you feel about this George Floyd situation that's happening in America right now.
Oh man, you know, it's really weird for me because it kind of, I mean, okay, the first thing is it's sad because when I saw the video, or should I say when the video first kind of aired, I wasn't going to watch it because, and this sounds bad to say, it just felt like another video of our people being hurt and possibly killed. And there's only so much of those you can watch, if that makes sense, because essentially we're seeing a black person in a helpless situation. We don't know it, like there's no comments, so we don't know if the person's dying or not. We just know that we're going to see somebody get beaten up or whatever. So I didn't know if I wanted to watch it. So that speaks volumes to how much we've seen already, where it's like yet another one. That's the first thing.
Yeah.
Right. But then secondly, so I watched it maybe a day after everybody watched it. And then when I heard him crying out and, you know, and I saw the disconnect from emotion from the police officer, like his intention was to kill him, right? His intention was, and you know, I was talking about this. So like, you know, I do martial arts, right?
Yeah.
So we do the choke hold in our martial arts. We do the figure 4 and things like that.
Right.
So our Sifu would say that when you apply it, once it's applied, you count 5 seconds, 6 tops, and then you let go. Because anything after that,
5 seconds, 6 tops, 6 tops.
Yeah. Right. Anybody in martial arts will tell you once you apply that choke and it's applied properly, right on the neck, for you to just make them pass out 5, 6 seconds, and then you you let go, because what's happened is that the oxygen, the air can't feed the brain. So, but you've only cut it for a little while. So that's the reason why they pass out or they feel extremely dizzy. So even if you let them go after 5 seconds of applying that, they can't fight you anymore. There's no oxygen to the brain. So you see them, that's what they're doing this, because their brain is trying to get
you suffocate
trajectory.
them.
Yeah. So that's 5, 6 seconds tops. Anything after that, anybody in here will tell you that there's martial arts, you die. Right, or you're close to death, right? Okay. Oh, is my internet bad? The people are saying my internet's bad. Is it bad?
Yeah, it's coming in and out. So either you connect you to your thing, or maybe it's the Wi-Fi.
How's it now? How's it now?
It's a bit blurry. We've had it a bit blurry. I thought it was just me. So the people are actually seeing that it's a bit.
I've moved it now, so it should be better. Is it better?
Slightly better.
Somebody says it is. Better. You know, it takes a little while to catch up. Is it still blurry?
Slightly better. We'll get there, but Richard, that's for the people that care about your face more than your voice. Let's go, Rich. Don't worry about that. You know what they're looking for.
No, wait. You know what, people? Stay there. Don't move. I'm going to connect my Wi-Fi. right? Stay
Yeah,
there.
that might even be better.
All right, stay. It says disconnect from Wi-Fi. Use data. I'm not using my Wi-Fi, so maybe I should connect my
Okay, so
Wi-Fi
yeah,
system.
maybe use your Wi-Fi. It might make more sense.
All
For those that are joining us right now, we are joined by the legend that is Mr. Richard Blackwood, talking about life journeys and, of course, you know, his perception of what's going on right now. But more importantly, the subject for today is what we call siblings from another mother. We're talking about uniting ourselves and, you know, how well we are connected, not just by color, but by culture, but by, you know, us going back to our roots and with each other. So we got RB's going to reconnect. Yeah, he has to reconnect, but that's what happens when you try to connect to the thing. He definitely has to reconnect. Guys, you know how it is with technology, man. We're not from this school. We don't even know what people are doing with our technology right now. Half the time you're trying to connect, reconnect, disconnect. I don't even call myself Eddie no more. I call myself Comedy Caddy. I've been online for so long. I don't exist in the real world, people. I don't exist in the real world. I now exist in the virtual world. So my name is now Comedy Caddy. So as soon as Richie comes back, there he is. Then we're going to get him back on. So hopefully we got the full connection back on.
Okay. There you go. That's better, right?
Yeah. That's right. That will do, Rich.
All
right.
Let me just. Yeah. So, okay, there. I'll put it there.
Right. So we're talking about the
Yeah. So basically, right. So now we're in a place where, like I say, so I didn't want to watch it because, you know, as I said, I knew that it was going to be something. So as I say, when you see the police officer's face and you see the total disconnect from emotion, and, you know, we know, unfortunately, we know killers, we know bad men out there, and we know that it's all in the eyes.
It's all in the eyes.
Right?
He was gone. His spirit left him. It's like his spirit and something else took over. It's
like devoid of emotion. The best way to describe it is like a narcissist, right? You know, devoid. And then you got to remember, and then they border on going to enjoying the pain that you're in. Do you know what I mean? So when you saw him like crying and saying all these different things, you knew that a normal brain would connect to that emotion and go, I don't like.
No, this is done. Yeah.
It's because you don't like the feeling it's giving you. So you release because you don't like the feeling it's giving you. But when you're a narcissist or you're devoid of emotion, it kind of, in a weird sort of way, turns you on. Because it's the adrenaline rush of all the power that you have got over this person. So if anything, like, it's, you know, like, it's horrible to say this, but you see like certain rape victims, right? They when they stop screaming, they go, all right, then go and do it. Then the rapist is all of a sudden like, no. Because unfortunately, his brain is wired that the more that you scream, the more I get turned on. But the more you turn around and go, go on then all of a sudden it's like, I don't want to touch you. Because you take away my power. Does that make sense?
Right. I'm with you.
Life, right? So basically, that is, you could see that that's what was happening. He, you know, and then you saw, there was a lot of things happening. Then you saw the guy behind the camera saying, you're a bum, dude. And what he was trying to do is that he was trying to hit him with words that would hit his inner core, right? Do you know what I mean? To make him go, okay, because somebody's trying to demasculate him by saying, you're a bum, you're not a man, look what you're doing. So once again, you're hoping that all this, like somebody said, reverse psychology, you're hoping that all these things would touch a normal people. So a person said, touch him in that way. But that's when I watched it, I went, no, this guy is a narcissist. So all these things are turning, because you saw him, he looked at the guy and went,
kept it straight. Like it's a show for him.
Yeah, but no, because but we see and what it was, and it sounds horrible to say this, but it's because he was on his mission. His mission is, I'm going to kill you. And the arrogance of it was that because of what I'm wearing, this badge, and because of the value that you don't have as a black man,
there's nothing that could be done apart from this. This is what's going to happen.
So I can now kill you in broad daylight in front of everybody. People can be saying to me, don't do that. And I can look at you and go, no, I don't know if you know, but in the eyes of my people, this man has no value, right? So I can kill him, right? And then you see, then the woman with the dog, when, you know, she said to the guy, when the guy said, put a leash on your dog, and she said, I'm going to call the police.
I'm going to call the police. Yep, same. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
so once again, and this is, you know, this speaks real volumes, you know, because once again, there is something that, and you know, just like John Boyega said, racist white people have realized, right? And you know, it really upset me when I saw white people getting vexed, because it's like, if somebody said,
again, getting vexed again. Let's not forget.
but here's the thing though, if somebody said to me, all you rapists out there, or you male rapists out there, they're not talking to me. So I'm not getting vexed. You said rapist. Clearly, I'm not a rapist. I can't even relate to a rapist. So there's nothing about what you're saying that's going to upset me, right? Even if you said all you black people that have raped, I'm not going to go, rah, you're talking about all black people. She said all black people that have raped. So straight away, it's like, she's not talking to me.
No, that's not
right?
true. Boom. Yeah.
So when John said all you racist white people that are not racist shouldn't even have felt a slight touched by that, because he made it quite clear I'm talking to racist white people. The only reason why you would get upset, if you think about it, is that you are saying you as a black person are not allowed to say the word
You're
white.
not allowed to say it. You're not allowed to complain. You're not in the
You're not allowed to say the word white, right? And let me explain to you.
I'm listening to you, Rich. I'm listening to you. Let's go.
Right. So let me explain to you what that means, right? And I've told this to a few people. So I've got a friend I haven't spoken to in years, right? But I've got a friend, a white lady, right, who, this is when I was doing the Richard Blackwood show. So this is just to bring home exactly my point. So I was kind of one of the first to have his own show and do the comedy and blah. And you know, we're on the same circuit, so we do jokes about everyone, white, black, Chinese, whatever you are, everybody gets it because it's humor. It's not personal. All right. So I did a joke, and I'll tell this back to front. So I did a joke. And then she called me up the same night, and she said, and she, you know, with her friends, she laughed and she goes, you know what, Richard, got into a real big argument with my friends over that joke you told about white people, right? Now, you know me, we're fellow Taurians. Our memories are very good.
Oh, right? Mate, we live in the present. We live in the present. We take everything in.
We're very meticulous. We catch everything, right? And worse, this is the thing that people don't understand about stand-ups. What our gift is to take in everything. That's why we're good at stand-up, because we see everything and then we're able to decipher it and give it back to you. Where you go, well, how did you catch that? It's like, that's how our brain works. So you can't insult our intelligence with psychology, because as a comedian we go, oh my God, I thought of that years ago. That's how my brain works. Do that with somebody that doesn't know psychology. That's how our brain works. So anyway, so she said, you know, this joke that you made about white people. So I already knew what she was talking about. And I said, what joke? And she goes, you know that joke about white people you made? I was telling my friends that you're not racist because they think you're racist. So I said, do me a favor, right? Because there's a reason why I'm telling you this. I said, do me a favor. Tell me the joke. So she goes, you know the joke about white people? I said, no. Just play like I'm stupid and let's say I don't remember.
Tell me the joke.
Tell me the joke. So she goes, oh, I can't remember. Something about white people. I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll do one better. I'll tell you what the joke was. I said, the joke, right? And this is some of the people that are old enough to remember this, because they would have been around the circuit this time. I used to do it on the circuit. This is like 90s, 2000s, yeah? Okay. So when jungle music first emerged on the scene in the late 90s, or like, you know, like the dance music, that kind of music, yeah? So the joke was, I said, black people, stereotypically, we were the people that used to be able to have rhythm. I said, and white people used to look at us and go, that's amazing, because stereotypically, they didn't have rhythm. I said, but when this new jungle music came out, I said, black people, we couldn't catch the beat. And I said, so white people will come up to us going, do you need a hand there, mate? Right? So the joke was on black people not having rhythm. Fact. It was actually big enough white people saying, you guys can dance and we can't. Yeah. So when I reiterated it back to her, I said, so the joke was about black people not having rhythm, right? But all the joke was white, right? So I said to her, I said, and she went, oh yeah. I said, no. I said, you and your friends heard a black man say white person and it made your ears go, excuse me? And so what that tells me is that even though you're my friend, you don't see me as your equal, right? Because you got to think about the psychology. I just used the term white person and you as a white person went, sorry. So what you're saying is, you are not allowed to say that word.
You
I'm
can
now
say
paying
that word.
close attention. What did you say exactly? So that ideology says, you are not on my level to say that. So I take offense at whatever comes out of your mouth after that, even though I'm saying, so even when we talk about, if you think about it, even when we talk about this issue, we're angry, but we still got to say, some white people, we still have to say that word so that white people don't go, oi, oi, when they know we're not talking about you, because you're not racist, we're talking about the ones that are. But why is it that we still have to make sure that you guys don't feel like we're talking about you?
So,
You,
Abi, check this. Like, this is, man, I feel like every person I've spoken to in the last 4 or 5 days, somehow God is in them to just stick within the topic that we've come in for. Like, spiritually, we just, like, and this is what makes me excited. When we talk about siblings from the same mother, let me break that down. What I mean is that we are the same culture, the same color, understand each other more because we have a foundation of a culture, regardless of where we were born. Yeah. And for the past probably few years now, you know, like people may not know this, but you'll be on my back, Eddie. When am I coming to Africa, Eddie? When
yeah.
And you're just like, I don't care. We're gonna take me Nigeria, Ethiopia, South Africa, Ghana. When am I going? Whenever you see me travel, you're like, oh, so you're trying to leave without me?
Yeah.
Like, I've seen that.
Yeah.
That gives me joy because I know why you want to go. You're not just, you don't want to go just to perform. You want to go because you want to connect. You want to see what's going on the other side. Based on what you've just said. So we're looking at America. We're looking at a situation that's going on in Africa. We're looking at in the Caribbean, the situation. South America, forget it. What black people are actually going through down there, right? What is the one thing you would suggest when you're having a conversation like this that everybody should be able to relate as black people, right? Even though we are going through different walks of life. Because a lot of people will say, that's an American problem. I understand what I'm saying to you. And I've heard it. Some people will say, you know, them black Americans, they're dealing with it. They don't know what we're going through in Africa. And then they don't know what's going on with us in the Caribbean. Like in Brazil, we're suffering. Like, forget these African Americans. What would you say?
You know what I would say? I would say that, like, if everything has a domino effect, right? Everything has a domino effect. So, because, okay, if we look at our culture right now, we're very Americanized anyway, right? So just give you a prime example. Like, black people, especially in this country of a certain generation, use the N-word, right? But it's not our terminology. As you know, it's an Americanism, right? And me personally, I mean, I don't use that word anyway, but I find that when English people use that word, they sound off.
Oh yeah.
Right? Because it's the same as like the CUNT word. When English say it and they use the Cockney, it sounds rhythmic. It's a harsh word, but there's something about when you say it in a Cockney slang, I won't say it here, but in a Cockney slang, where it's rhythmic and it sounds quite endearing.
It sounds quite sweet, yeah.
It's sweet, but the reason why it sounds sweet is because it derives from the white Cockneys. That's what it derives. So they do it in a rhythmic way where if you say it in any other way, it sounds like what it is. It sounds hard.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
right? Okay. So when Americans say the N-word, it sounds rhythmic because it goes with their twang and their kind of their flow, right? But when we say it, because we've got a hardness to our words, we enunciate more than they do, right?
Yes.
On certain words, it sounds like we're actually saying it like how a white person used to say it to me when I'm running from them in school. That's what it sounds like. So to me, it doesn't sound comfortable coming from us. And I go, why do we say that? Why are we trying to copy the Americans? It's not our word. Right, do you know what I mean? We say like what I'm done, right? Blah blah. Because we're more still connected with the Caribbean slang.
Yes.
So Wagwan fam, do you know what I mean? That's all kind of Caribbean. That's us, right? Do you know what I mean? But when we say the N-word, it sounds weird because it's like that. It sounds like you're begging it. Cause it's like that's not our word.
Yeah,
that's the American word, right? But what it is that, but it's the domino effect. We're picking up on what the Americans are doing. So then when you see the video over here where the man was tasered in front of his little baby, do you see that? Right? Okay. In Manchester, right? So think about that, right? Once again, what type of human being can see a man with a baby that essentially could barely walk? The baby's crying. So you, as an officer, hear the baby crying. Now, you know, let's say this guy is a criminal and you need to take him in. Yeah, let's just say. He's not going to run away with his child
Because
there.
his child there. Absolutely not.
So guess what? If he's a criminal, he's been caught because his child is there. Not unless he's sick, is he going to run with this baby? That's the first thing. So you kind of know you've got him covered, right? So if you say to him, listen, mate, we're going to have to take you, even if he's going, what are you doing, blah, blah, blah. You know, there's not too much he can do because his primary concern is my child. He's not going to be swinging after you because his child is right there. What can he's not going to do, he's not unless he's sick, right? So now you're in the position to barter and go, listen, mate, we don't want to do this in front of your child.
Yeah.
Right? We don't. So what are we going to do here? And believe you me, once he mentions his child, he's going to go, all right, bro, let's, you know what I'm saying?
Let's, do your thing.
So for you to then step back and hear the man go, taser him, to me as a human being, what that says is the baby to you is not a baby in your eyes. It's not even human in your eyes. Yeah. It's not even human in your eyes because you're a trained officer and you know if we taser him and he falls, psychologically, we've just screwed up that child, right? Not unless this man's a convicted rapist, murderer, and he's on the run and he's waiting for murder, do we need to exercise extreme force like you're wanted in several countries, right? You are a terrorist. But if this man is just a little petty criminal,
what are you doing that?
Because you can, I'm not saying you let him go because people was just type stripping this. It's not letting him go, but you know, it's like he's caught. He's caught, right? But instead, so I always do that. We're actors, we're comedians. So what we do, we put ourselves in the shoes of the person that we're trying to replicate.
For sure.
So if I put myself in the shoes of those two police officers, what I see is two people that look at these two as you're not human, right? I don't see you as human or any level of any level of, you know, like just worth anything because the baby's crying and I just pick it up and walk it off like say, yeah, get over it. And it's like, this is like, and then then you think about the film, is it Long Time to Kill with Samuel Jackson when they raped his daughter and then he shoots them? Yes. And this is when you understand the final scene in that movie with Matthew Broderick, whatever his name is at the end, where he's talking to the jurors, and he tells them a story, and there's nothing in their face, and then he starts to cry because he understands that now I'm going to have to say something to make it connect, and then he says, "Now imagine that girl was white," and you see them go quickly. And so what he's saying in that moment is that I've just described a young girl being raped, and it means nothing to you because of her color. Because of the color. But as soon as I say a white girl, you go, oh, steady on. Now you can make these guys go to prison for it. So this is why I say that this what I say to black people right now. And this is okay. So now let's take the heat off of the racists for a moment. Let's take the heat off of them. Come on, Rich. Take it off. I'm here, man. All right, and let's talk about what we need to do. Richard, hold it. Don't say anything just yet. Hold it. What we need to do. I just wanna big up a few people. You know, we're interacting right now. So many great comments coming up. Truth be told, I see your comments. White people need to get educated, as you say. We are not all the same. Okay. I see that comment from Kansas. Cool. Simone Sky, was he holding the baby? No, the baby was standing right there next to him. Didn't need to be holding the baby. The baby was right there. That's enough for holding it. When your child is there, you're holding your child. Adrian Lowe, traumatic experience for his child. Of course, I see that. I saw a comment that that really okay. Queen GCA, what are you saying to us? I'm gonna put this, Richard. I wanted to stick this in mind. Not all white people are the same. I have a baby girl that's got Jamaican African in there, and she's absolutely perfect. What's been going on, not just now, but for years, breaks my heart. We hear you on that. Okay, we hear you. Now, Richard, big shout out to our brother Fumbio Matayo who's in the building. There's a lot of people. Big shout out to Makosi as well. We need to be in the rooms and our tables, policies are made. I don't know. In terms of socio-economic power, I align with that statement. And I align with that. But in the rooms with them, I don't know if it's about the rooms. Maybe we have to create our own rooms. But Richard, let's take it from that. Now we're half an hour in. We're halfway into this conversation. We've landed at the part where we need to start looking at the issues and moving towards solutions. But I want to hear you, bro. Let's go from where you left. That's right.
This is what we
Well,
need to do.
well, my thing is this, right? First things first is we need to, like, we need to really start to take stock of where we fall short with each other. Because if you look at any race, including white people, right, they make sure that they take care of their own. And there's nothing wrong in that. There's nothing wrong in that, because that's what you're supposed to do, right? Indian people take care of their own, right? Do you know what I mean? Chinese people take care of their own, right? We are the only race that don't take care of ourselves, right? And you know, sometimes people don't like that said publicly, like it's some secret that only black people know. Every other race knows it, otherwise they wouldn't take liberties. Like, so let's get over that. Like, you know, I hate when people say, oh, well, why are you putting that? Or why are you saying that? And blah, blah. It's like, do you think that is some secret that only we know? Right? Like, they don't know. Like, let's just like, one thing about me, right? I'm 48. I'm a big man. I'm not doing kiddie things, right? I don't like kiddie conversations. Like, you know, I like mental stimulation. I'm an educated man,
100%.
right? So I don't take on, when I see certain comments and it sounds kiddie, to me, they think they've said something where it's like, rah. And to me, I say, you sound like you're 10. So I don't, because you can listen to my vernacular. I'm an intelligent man. So I want intelligent conversation.
We're listening to you. We're listening to you.
You
This
understand?
is your time.
All right.
Talk to us.
So what it is that we need to first and foremost bring back the sense of, and everybody says love, but we do need to bring back the sense of loving and understand that any beefing that's going on between us internally is only adding to our disvalue, our devalue. Because we're all in the same position. No matter if I have a bit more money than you or you have a bit more than me, economically, we're still in the same place. We're still not, Indian people have been in this country less time than us, but economically, they're more powerful than us, right? We used to laugh, in my generation, in the 70s and 80s, we used to laugh at Indian people because we used to say, oh, you just got a corner shop, or there's so many families living in one house. But guess what? Indian people came over here and they understood how to do the damn thing. So they came over and they didn't mind if you laughed at them, because they saw the long-term goal. So they're like, laugh at our shop, laugh at the fact that you got a corner shop, laugh at the fact that you think that we've only got Indian shops and we sell Indian. Laugh. Oh, look at you, all the Indians in one car. Laugh. Indians now are our doctors, our dentists, right? And they own the dentistry. They're not dentists, they own it. When it comes to doctors, they're the head doctors, right? Privately owned. Like, you go into you know, like the private sector of being doctors, and Indian people run that, right? But guess what? We used to laugh at them, right, when they had the little corner shops, right? Do you know what I mean? So, because their thing is that so when they sent for their children to come over from India or Pakistan or wherever they came from, that part of the world, their thing is, we're over here building. When you come now, you go to university. Most Indian people, as you know, right, and you can say this is a generalization, I don't care, are very intelligent. Indian people normally, if you think back to school, were the intelligent ones in class.
Quickly, my best friend was sick. Hardit work. I got my GCSEs, A stars, A's, because I stuck by him. Stuck. My dad used to say, stick with that boy. Stick with him.
No, but here's the thing. All jokes aside, African people are the same. Because 100%. Africans and Indians had the same ideology, which is that you can't get less than an A minus, right? 100%. That was their ideology. And that's because they came over later and they came over with a plan, right? So like you come from the Congo, Nigerians, blah, blah. You guys have been here truthfully like 30 years maximum. Like you had some that came over in the 70s, but they were small. But I would say 30 years, 20 years, people from that part of Africa now came over in droves. So they came over with a plan. Indians came over in the 60s. Remember, my parents came over with Rimrush. We came over in the 40s and 50s, my grandparents, right? So we were the first. But Indians and Africans and people like that, they came over later. So they came with a plan, right? Yeah. So hence the reason why, if you go to universities, most of the black people in university are African, right? Because they can't come home with just a college education. You better be going to university, because I didn't come over here for you to go to college, yeah, right? So understand that So these are the reasons why. So that's the reason why, if you look at like the Indian people, that's why they're winning, right? And just to show you how much they're winning, if you think back, and this is what I mean by sticking together and allowing the beefs. If you just think about this. Rest in peace. The young lady that was in Big Brother, she passed away.
Jane Goody.
Jane Goody. I should remember because she was actually a friend of mine, but Jane Goody, rest in peace. But Jane Goody and the other lady made a racist comment about the Indian woman that was in the show. Remember? Okay, just think about this. This is why I say about the togetherness, right? So they were saying things that were negative about her and blah, blah, blah. Our prime minister at the time, right, went to India to do business. The Indians were burning effigies in the street of Jane Goody, and guess what? Said, listen, we ain't doing no more business with you until you check that girl.
Power.
Remember this. And you know why I know this?
I remember that moment, Rich. I remember my manager, John Noah, was managing that. I remember that conversation.
But let's because we ain't got a lot of time, but let's just break it down as to why you know this. Because in the House of Commons, when they film it, they were talking, think about House of Commons talked about things to do with even COVID and blah, blah. I remember the first thing on the agenda, I remember the man said, okay, so first on the agenda is a Jane Goody. I said, Rascalot. The first thing on the agenda, before we go on to things that affect us here, we need to, this was on the news, right?
Power.
So I said, yo, Indian people do not mess around, to the point where when my man went back home, he was in the House of Commons and said, before we move on, we better deal with this problem because
we didn't deal with Big Brother issues.
So then Jay Goody had to go on Big Brother in India and apologize. They flew her over. Like, yo, before we do business, you got to, I think about that meeting. They called her in and said, listen, you got to go to India because they're not doing no trade with us because of what you said. So go over there and do what you got to do, right? Now, that to me tells me, and this is why I respect Indian people, you can't diss Indian people. That's historic. That's in history, right, of us standing together. So once again, that shows that they're saying economically, you better behave yourself or we ain't dealing with you because we will stand together.
So Rich, so this is, and man, like, and this is the constant kind of path towards solution when it comes, we're talking about unity, seeing each other as one. Because I believe whether it was a Pakistani, it was an Indian, even though they have their own issues of segregation, but when it comes to the face fronting, the world, it is not a joke. You are Jamaican, I'm Congolese. You're from the Caribbean, I'm from Africa. Yeah? Now, I've always said to you, look, I've always believed, I don't care what anybody says, history shows us, yeah, we're siblings from the same mother. Some people, now, I could come in and be telling people, someone said here earlier, you know, they need to go back to, we need to all go back to Africa. So when I said, well, that's easy, but you can't just go to a Caribbean and say, go back to Africa. You can't just go to an American and say, go back to Africa. First of all, you need to have a conversation with a Caribbean to meet them where they are. So you're able to talk to them in their language, because empathy is something that we don't apply a lot of the times when we're talking to our people. So I want to understand something from you. Your perception of Africans like myself from Congo, from Nigeria, from Ghana, without going to Africa, what is the connection that you have with them? And I'm talking on a level of brotherhood, but also on a level of history. That's also on a level of understanding. I want you to be honest with me as a Caribbean man.
Well, I would say this. When I was a kid, I was guilty, like most Caribbean kids, of taking the mickey out of Africans because I had no knowledge. Don't get me wrong, even though my parents would have been very upset because they taught us that you're African. Like anybody that comes from a Caribbean household, especially Jamaican back in them days, especially Rasta, because my dad is a Rust. So they would be like, yo, you're African first. So it was very much that. But when you're in school, it was the cool thing to take the mickey out of the African boy, which was my friend Kojo. He was the only African man in our school, right? Same age, Kojo. Yeah, Kojo Boateng. I mean, he was man them though. We still took the mickey, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, and he was Boateng. That's Ghanaian, isn't it? Yeah, but he's Ghanaian, right? So here's the thing. But as I got older, and I started to now do a bit more history, and understood that Jamaicans primarily derive from Ghanaians, right? I thought it was Nigerians, but it's Ghanaians. And in actual fact, the Ghanaians were the first slaves to revolt, to fight back, right? They don't really get credited as such, but they were the first to fight back. So some of the Ghanaian slaves were sent to Jamaica, which it wasn't called then, as a punishment. And Jamaica derives from the Ghanaian term Jamaica, which means we are stuck here, right? Now,
Richard, talk to us. Talk to us. We're listening, man. Talk to us.
You see, the one thing about me, you know, only my true friends know this side of me. Most people just know me as a comedian and the person.
Let's go, Rich.
They don't really know how deep I am.
And you know
they
we're
don't
gonna
really
have a
know how
part
deep
two,
I
so
am.
you better keep
that's
going.
like a privileged thing to know that side of me. And all my friends always say, you should talk the way that you talk to us. And I'm like, no, the public get what they get and you get what you get, right? But I'm not, obviously, to be successful for 27 years, I can't be stupid, if that makes sense.
That I know
right?
what, my guy, and you're showing it today. Thank you.
Yeah. So what it is that, as I say, so Jamaica means we're stuck here in Ghanaian with 3 separate words, and we just crammed it down to Jamaica, right? But so I've always wanted to then, and if you notice, a lot of Jamaicans always go to Ghana and set up shop, and they always say we're home, and it's because they know that same history, right? So as I say, so for Africans out there, understand, I'm not saying other African countries didn't revolt, but the Ghanaians were the ones that were known as the ones that were like, you can't control them, and they were sent to Jamaica as a punishment. That's history.
1957, first sub-Saharan Africa country to gain independence. So you're right.
There you go. There's a reason. There's a reason for that. Ghanaians they're softer by nature now, but they don't play, right? So for me, because I'm a proud Jamaican in terms of my parents and so forth, I always wanted to go to Ghana to see it for myself. But then, in wanting to go to Ghana, the first country in Africa I always wanted to see was Kenya. Anybody that knows me would know that Kenya has always been the main place in Africa on my bucket list, the main country in Africa. I've always wanted to see Kenya. There's something exotic about it that I've always wanted to see. And then, you know, I had opportunities to go to Nigeria. I was going to go to Nigeria with you, right?
Remember,
and obviously. And then I remember I said about going to Congo, and you said not yet. You said maybe.
I said, let me plan it for you. Let me package it for you.
Yeah, right. But not the right time. But I've always wanted to go to Africa because I just believe that, you know, we shouldn't. It's so weird when you go to the Caribbean, and I can speak for Jamaica. When you go to Jamaica, we don't take the mickey out of Africans in Jamaica. Africans are really respected in Jamaica because they know that's the motherland. It's only when we come here that all of us are divided. It's so weird. When we used to do the Wahalas and all those in Africa, blah, blah, I used to do them because it was part of what we did, but I didn't like doing them, right? If you want me to be honest, right? Because I didn't like doing them.
For those reasons, I stopped. I
didn't like doing them at all. I just did them because we're comedians, we can do what we do. But I didn't like them because when you go to the Caribbean, those shows wouldn't exist because they'd be like, no, what are you talking about? Like if you go to Jamaica, right? I was talking about this today. When you go to Jamaica and you see Chinese Jamaicans, you see white Jamaicans, and they talk to you and they say, you're a foreigner. And you go, sorry, what? Right? And they go, yeah, foreigner. Go on from yes, sir. Yeah. And you go, sorry, who? But they're Chinese. But they go, but me born, yes, sir. Right? Do you know what I mean? So straight away, they're just seen as Jamaicans. You're the foreigner, no matter what color you are, because you're from England. Right? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's when we come here is when we do the divide. So now we take it full circle.
Yes. This
is what's happening with our people, is that we're still divided, even though we only make up 2%, 3% of the UK. But we're still divided. We still feel that if you're from East London, I should be from you from South London or another part of East London, or if you're, and you say to yourself, but it makes no sense because guess what? Our parents probably know each other, right? Do you know what I mean? Like, and so when I see in music when they're beefing, or when I see people beefing and blah blah, it puzzles me because I say to myself, okay, we don't want them, the racists, to kill us and hurt us. But what about us hurting us? Because it's something we don't like to discuss, right?
And we do get very sensitive about that. I was speaking to my boy Aubrey earlier about a statement that Tiny Temper made. Earlier,
yeah, I saw it.
You see it, right? And when I sent it, it's interesting. When I sent it to my boy, he was like, he looked at it in terms of, okay, we're talking about, you know, kind of self-love, or was it to do with black on black crime? You know, it may have been misconstrued. It's only up to him to explain what he meant, how it came across. Probably people looking at it in terms of timing, that the fact that we should fix ourselves has nothing to do with the fact that an officer who is white should just feel like he can kill a black man. But then the only time he can come out and say exactly what he meant. So just to reiterate in terms of what you just said along those lines, or what you're saying right now.
No, but I can tell you what I mean. I can tell you what I mean, right? And what I mean by that, like, one thing, I don't care. I don't pander to the crowd, right? Do you know what I mean? Because I speak about sense, right? If you as another race see a race of people that are dynamic, remember, you know, regardless of what, we are respected as black people because people that are not black understand what we bring as black people. They're not stupid, but they see the flaw, and the flaw is, but they will kill each other in a heartbeat. Now, people will go, but other races kill other races. And like, yeah, they do. But just think about, just think about our music. Our music, hip hop, grime, R&B is our music. It derives from us, no?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So you would say that classical pop, things like that, derive from mainstream, yeah? That's what we would kind of say, yeah? To a degree. But yet, our music is the only music that talks about beefing and chefing and moving to. Pop music doesn't do that, right? Like heavy metal, which was classed as the rebellion for white people, didn't talk about killing each other. But that was the equivalent. It was like, even if you go back to the 70s of punk rock, right? They were talking about fighting the system. If you listen to Led Zeppelin, or if you listen to like, you know, F the Anarchy and all those songs were talking about fighting the system, fighting the oppressor. They weren't talking about fighting each other. Listen to it. Like, it's very important that you understand culturally what music is about.
Yes, sir.
So,
yes, sir.
because I know the argument. People will say, yeah, but Richard, we're talking about the way we live. It's like, okay, cool, great point. But guess what? White people are poor too, right? There are poor white people. So when punk music came out, it was the poor white man's music. It was their music. It was the rebellion against pop. It's like, this is our music, yeah? But well, why is it in their music where they was going and doing all that? They weren't talking about killing each other. But it was their poor white music, right? They're talking about living in poverty and how tough it is, but they're not talking about beefing with each other. They're going, we're poor because the people up there are pushing us down, so we're going for you.
Yeah.
So why are we not saying that? Why are we saying, boy, if a man moves to me, chef, and because it makes no sense. Because he that you're talking about chefing is in the same area as me, or he's as poor as I am, right? So, you know, and don't get me wrong, I've got friends that are in music. I love the music because I understand it. But just same way as I'm a comedian, I'm an actor, and I understand the onus that I take on being a black actor. I understand that people take things serious. So when me and Hollyoaks now, I'm proud of my character. Even in EastEnders I was. But guess what? When I ended up being a snitch on EastEnders, black people got vexed. Rightly so. Oh, man's a snitch. Because they took it personal. Right? But they took it personal. You know, but,
100%. And it came your way. Yeah.
But guess what? But they took it personal because they knew innately you're representing us as a culture. So I understood it. Right? Do you know what I mean? My character now, it's like they can't really say too much. It's like, no, it's a good character. You represent us, blah, blah. Because I understand it's the onus I take on as a person in front of the camera. It's the onus I take. I'm not going to go, well, I don't business. I understand it, right? Jackie Chan used to say he doesn't do evil roles because he understood the onus of the character for the Chinese, right? So Jet Li, when he did Lethal Weapon 4, it was offered to Jackie Chan. He said, no, because I don't want to play a bad character. I represent good. So Jet Li took it because he was trying to become famous, right? Yeah. So this is why I say, so in our music, there is an onus on us to represent something. There's an onus. So if you decide not to take it, that's up to you. That's fine. But so you can't then pretend.
Someone just said, Richard, I agree with what you're saying, but understand that part of the music industry execs pressure rappers to enforce European stereotypes. You know, and I'm going to save this live, and we're going to have a part 2, guys. Don't worry about that. This is Richard Blackwell right here. This is my brother. He'll be back. But yeah, let's address that quickly, Rich, as you're rolling. Yeah.
No, he's absolutely
natural, isn't it? You always get pressure when it comes to money. But yeah,
hold on. He's absolutely right, because I want to make sure I get his point. He's absolutely right. Yeah. But you see, here's the thing though. This is where you got to remember, okay, if you watch the film Panther, right? And you know, the Black Panther movie.
Yeah.
The Black Panthers would stand up and make sure that you dealt with black people properly. If you was arresting them, you arrest them properly, blah, blah, right?
Yes.
They were on the front lines. So what, they had a meeting on the boat. This is correlates with what I'm talking about. They had a meeting on the boat and the guy said, do you think this plan will work? And he went, yeah, put drugs into their area. Make the little bad boys on the street now become kingpins of their area. And that will cause the divide inside the area. So the character, if you remember, is a comedian, can't remember his name, but he was the first, he kind of was the little bummy guy in the area. They gave him the drugs and now he was the man in the area and then he killed it from the inside. Okay, so let's move that to music. If as a community, you said, as a community stood together and said, you know what then, we ain't gonna be making major P's because we wanna spit about this, right? And you can go to my man over there and go, we're gonna offer you more money. He's gonna say the same thing. Nah. Because here's the thing, people go, no, but Richard, it's like, but we've been broke already. We've been broke.
That's what I was about to say.
We've been broke, so it's not hard.
Yeah.
Right? Like, think about it. They've offered me certain roles and I've said no. I've said no to certain roles, which means that I'll still be starving. Right? I got offered a role, which I can't tell people. I got offered a role before I got Hollyoaks. Right? And I remember calling Jason, I said, Jason, they've offered me this role, you know. And Jay goes, but B, do you stand for that though? Right? Like you as Richard Blackwood and what you stand for, do you stand for that? And I went, nah. And he goes, you've already answered your question. Now I was broke.
Quickly.
They was offering good money a week and I was broke, right? And I was like, B, I kind of need the money though. And Jay was like, but bruv, do you stand for that as you? Could you look in the mirror and go that the money cancels out how you feel? And I went, no. So guess what? I remained broke and didn't take the role. I remained, now don't get me wrong, they might have offered it to somebody else, right? But my stance was, I can't do that. Now people would have, if I told you how much money they was offering me, you say, oh, you're a fool, take the money. It's like, but on my tombstone, dignity would be one of the big words. I have dignity. And also, I'm trying to make sure that, because you've got to ask yourself long term, what do you want to stand for? Right? We're just stories. When you're dead and gone, what do you want to stand for? Right? I know right now that what I stand for, people look at me and they see integrity. They see a person that's upstanding. And guess what? I'm all those things as a black man because I'm trying to kill the stereotype. I'm not the stereotype. Right? When you talk to me, you got to talk to me properly. I'm not a fool. You can't just move to me on the street. Right? So I'm not a dickhead. Right? Do you know what I mean? But you can't also puzzle me with vernacular. I can meet you. Right, do you know what I mean? Right, I can speak Swedish. I speak like my thing is that I'm an educated.
A lot of people don't actually know certain things. Of course, a lot don't know certain things. I like how you threw Swedish in it. You just and then just let it go. Big shout out to my brother Zimzo, our Swede Congo in the building. I like how you just threw that in there.
no, but bro, I'm trying to explain. There's a reason for it, and the reason is I'm trying to make sure that you don't put that stereotype on me, right?
Yes, sir.
So even if so guess what? Even if I'm standing alone, right, then so be it, right? Do you know what I mean? Because I've got to be a beacon. So if everybody else is spitting nonsense, there's got to be a beacon somewhere. There's got to be a beacon somewhere that says, so even my character on Hollyoaks, I love Hollyoaks. You know why? Because they wrote the character for me and we had a meeting and they was like, he's an intelligent man, he's about this and blah, blah. The reason why they said that is because that's how you carry yourself. So we have to write to meet where you're at, right? So all the work I've been putting in, Hollyoaks didn't have to choose me, but they chose me on the premise of this is what you built for yourself. So this is what I'm trying to say. We as a people, sometimes we have to stare adversity in the face and go, I'm not going to compromise what I believe for money, because that's where we've gone wrong. Right? And that doesn't mean that the racist people have the right to kill us. That's separate. But we have lost our dignity for money, for fame, right? So you will see, it's horrible, but you see girls posing next to nothing on Instagram for likes, for following, right? And it's like, so is that what you represent? And then when you say, rah, is that all you do? They get vexed. And it's like, but don't get vexed. That's what you're telling me you represent.
Richard,
you're telling me you represent that.
This is what everything you just said. See, people have to understand, for those that have been joining us on this line, I speak minimal because it's not about me. It's about sharing the people who are around me that I listen to, daily, every other week. Me and Richie might not speak for months, and then the next time we speak, there's gems. And it's important for me to take this in, but also to spread it with you guys. This quote was said, and I live by it. I do not post for the likes and comments, but I post for the things I want to be known for. Yeah. Now we have 4 minutes of this conversation, and we will have.
So wait, let me ask you a question real quick. Let me ask you a question. So that you can't do another hour. You're not allowed to do that.
No. You can. But I gotta pick me.
Oh yeah, cool.
And she take priority over you.
No, as you should.
But Rich, we have to come back and do this again. 1,000,000%. We have to come back and do this again.
When you're ready. When you're ready.
So important. Now,
yeah, when you're ready.
This is the part, the last 3 minutes, I really want to get this clear, because the title was Siblings from the Same Mother. And what you've done is you didn't just speak to Africans, you didn't speak to the Caribbeans, you didn't just speak to those guys in Brazil. You spoke to everybody. And you also made it clear that you know where you come from. You made it very clear that you also understand where your people are situated around the world and how we need to move forward. You have a child, you have a son. He's
19. Yeah, 19.
So now, before we go, a lot of people talk about, a lot of statements people talk about, we're not going to see any changes in our lifetime. But we always think about ourselves and never think about our kids or their kids' lifetime. And that's what we're supposed to plan for. Give me a 1-minute summary of what you would give people as homework for those who are raising kids out there. Those who are
okay, I'll do it. Let me do it, because you've got 1 minute.
Let's go.
I made my son learn the dictionary from page 1. Right? Anybody that knows me knows that. Kian will tell you that. I made him learn 5 words a day, right? Because those that read lead, those that don't won't. That's a quote from Maya Angelou. That's the first thing, right? If you just, look, this is for any color. If you are working class, the higher elite sees you as not as worthless. So guess what? You have to walk into that boardroom and let them know you got to deal with me properly. Education, don't disregard education. Education is something that can't be taken away from you, right? Also, as a human being, teach your kids to follow the route, not to follow the same mistakes you made. So guess what? If you was on road doing nonsense, your kids are supposed to go the opposite, right? If you wasn't good in relationships and you didn't know how to fix that, you make sure your kids don't grow up to have the same venom towards people because of what you have, right? Because like, I was playing the field, but I made sure that my son didn't see that side of me because I didn't want him to be a player like I was. Do you understand what I'm saying? I knew that of myself. So my son didn't really meet my girlfriends because I didn't want him to say, Daddy's got a different girl, blah, 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 blah. Right? I wanted him to see stability. So this is what I'm trying. So basically, don't bring down the mistakes, the sins of the fathers bestow the kids. Don't bring it down onto your kids. Make them a better version of you.
Come on.
That's the last minute, but that's what I would say. Make them a better version of you.
Richard Blackwood, you are a special human being. We have to have a part 2, because
when you're ready.
Where the second half of our conversation, you took people to another level. Hear this. Because DJ Caddy, we have to celebrate Richard Blackwood, man. This is a man that's grown up from this vibe. This is you, Richard. This is you, Richard.
On
the comedy circuit, they were telling me to do what the Americans do. I can't. Is that a rule so the soul stay true? And my uncle used to.
My guy.
Do you see that line there? My uncles used to say you to be true. That's it.
Listen, man, guys, thank you for tuning in. Do go to GETINFORAFRICA for more information, man. This campaign is not a joke. We're trying to raise awareness for those who are back home struggling with the pandemic, but we're also trying to spread the good news all over the world. Africans, we are the same wherever we are around the world. This is your African brother from Congo and your African brother from Jamaica coming together to preach. Richard Blackwood will be back, my brother. You know I love you long time. Thank you for all your advice.
Love you like cook
you've
food
always done, man.
And you know what? You called me on my birthday. You called me on my birthday, and I didn't get to call you back, so I apologize, brother. But
no, that's all right, Rich. Rich, you're in Hollywood. You're in Hollyoaks. Like, Rich, you ain't got time for me. Nice one. My people, love. Caddy, I'm out of here.
Later on.
GETINFORAFRICA.
You're my friend. Hey.